Good evening, my friends, and I welcome you back to my channel once again. Now, this channel where we try use pidgin, discuss the different concepts for science, and make sure say we try understand them to the best of our ability. Today, we're going to talk about recognizing science and biology. Now, little brief introduction into wetin biology be. Now, wetin science be on its own, we dey hear science. Wetin be science? Science na wetin we dey call systematic inquiry. And wetin we mean by systematic inquiry na say science na study wey be say na step by step we dey take do am, na why we dey call am systematic. And we dey try gather knowledge about things wey dey live and things wey no dey live. So either that knowledge about whether na living thing abi na non-living thing, that knowledge as we dey gather am together and we dey do am step by step, na wetin we dey call science. So the next question go be wetin come be biology? Now biology na aspect for science wey be say e dey study life. Anything wey get to do with life, anything wey dey alive, biology wan study am. And we need to understand say biology bin come from Greek word. That Greek word bios, for that Greek word e mean life, and logos for Greek e mean study. So they join those two words together, they come give us biology wey be the study of life. So the next thing wey we go look at now, as we don understand now wetin biology be, say biology na the study of life, we need to understand say biology get two major aspects. One na botany, the other na zoo or zoology. Zoology dey talk about study of animals, anything wey concern animal wey we dey study, whether na goat, na chicken, na fish, all those things together, we gather them together for one area of science, we dey call am zoology. The other aspect na botany. Wetin botany be? Botany dey study, na the study of plants. So any study wey we dey study any grass, any leaf, any flower, anything wey be plant wey we dey study, all those things we join them together for one area wey we dey call botany. Now, not be only zoology and botany dey as study of biology. Other different small aspects too dey wey be part of zoology. One we dey call am ecology. And wetin ecology be? Ecology na that study where we dey look at the relationship wey any living thing get with other living things and with the environment. That kind of study we dey call am ecology. E get study wey we dey call anatomy. Wetin anatomy be? Anatomy na the part of science wey dey study all the structures wey dey inside the body of either na plant or either na animal or even human being. So as e dey, we get plant anatomy. That one go dey study structures wey dey inside plant. We get human anatomy. That one go dey study structures wey dey inside human being. And we get animal anatomy. All of that one sef dey. And apart from that too, we get wetin we dey call physiology. Physiology dey look at function, how the body dey take function, how plants dey take function. So you get plant physiology, you get animal physiology, you get human physiology. All those ones dey look at function, how these things dey take function. We also get wetin we dey call morphology. Morphology wan look at shape, e wan look at size. So if we dey look organisms, we dey try and look at their shape, look at their size. All of that we go gather them together for area of science where we dey call morphology. So all these things na little areas of science wey we need to understand. Now, as I been tell you from the beginning, I tell you say science na systematic inquiry, meaning say we dey take things step by step and we dey use am inquire about whether na living thing abi na non-living thing. We wan know as much as we fit know about that thing. Now, for science to dey systematic, that means say e get particular steps wey we dey follow. Wetin come be the steps? One of the first steps na observation. Wetin observation be? Observation na to use our five senses, whether na the sense of smell, the sense of sight, the sense of smelling. All these senses, we dey use the whole five to take make observation on something, whether na living thing or na non-living thing. And any observation wey we make on this thing, we go jot that information down. The second thing after observation for the scientific method, the second thing na classification. Classification mean to put things into different categories, whether the things dey tall or they dey short or they dey bright or they dey dull. If we gather them put for different categories, that na wetin we dey call classification. You also get wetin dey call inference. Inference na to get knowledge, to get information. If you gather objects, whether them be, or if you gather living things for different categories, e get information wey you dey get from that categorization wey you do. That information na wetin we dey call inference. Now, another part of science or another step for science na measurement. Wetin be measurement? Measurement na when we use different instruments. If we make use of different instruments, come use them generate different results on wetin we dey study. So we fit use microscope, we fit use meter rule, we fit use different instruments dey for science wey we dey use. And if you dey use all these instruments, you get anemometer and all those ammeter, all these instruments we get am for science, and e get different things wey these instruments dey measure, and that area na wetin we dey call measurement. Now identification dey, that na to sabi something. If you see something now, for you to fit know say okay, this thing na plant, this thing na animal, this thing na bacteria, that one na identification aspect. Now as we dey go, the next aspect wey we go talk about na hypothesis. Wetin be hypothesis for science? We come understand say hypothesis na wetin we dey call educated guess. And wetin be meaning of educated guess? Na say if scientists observe something, if scientists enter somewhere or e dey for one area, if you make observation, see say e get as something take be, maybe this thing dey control this thing, or maybe this thing dey make this thing work. Make I give you simple example. If scientists enter a room come see light bulb wey dey on, if you dey look say okay, this light bulb maybe na sunlight dey power this light bulb, or na air dey blow wey dey make this light show, or na wind, or na heat, wetin dey make this light show. Now the scientist go dey think all these different things for im mind. As e dey think am, e go come generate a statement. That statement na wetin we dey call hypothesis. If you come talk say okay, this bulb wey I dey see wey dey light so, na air dey power this bulb. Now that statement na statement wey e make. We never know whether na true or no be true. So hypothesis na statement wey be say we dey call am educated guess. Im dey make guess based on the observation wey im don make. Now apart from that, now if we move from hypothesis, we will come go to experimentation. Wetin be experimentation? Experimentation na say as the scientists make observation, come do hypothesis wey be that statement, we go come gather series of activities wey we go take test that statement, whether that statement make any sense. Okay, if we dey talk the issue of the light bulb, we will come begin dey test that statement, say shey na air, shey na water, wetin dey make this light bulb on. All those activities wey we dey use test that statement na wetin we dey call experimentation. From experimentation, we go come graduate reach wetin scientists dey call theory, law, or principle. Those ones stand gidigba. And wetin those ones mean na say over the years, if we don come test hypothesis wey people don give, test am many times, come see say yes, this hypothesis be like say e dey true. Test am many thousands of times, and we come see say yes, true, this hypothesis dey true. That statement go come graduate from the level of hypothesis, come go the level wey we dey call law. At that level for science, we dey call that thing either law or principle, or we go call am theory. For that level, we don see say this thing no be hypothesis again. We don test am many times through experimentation, see say this thing dey true. At that level, we go begin dey call the thing a law. Now if we wan carry out experiment, e get steps wey we dey take carry out experiment. The first one na aim. You need to know wetin you wan do sef for the experiment. Which hypothesis you wan test. Na the first thing, you need to write down wetin your aim be for the experiment. Second thing wey you go write down na your apparatus. Wetin apparatus mean? This na your instrument. All the things wey you wan take do the experiment, you write am down. Shey na conical flask, shey na beaker, shey na wetin e be, or anything wey e be wey you wan take carry out the experiment wey you wan carry, you go write am down, put am for one place. Na your apparatus be that. The next thing na the method. Wetin be the method? Another name for method na procedure, and that one refer to all the actual steps or the things wey we wan do for the experiment. We will write am down. Those ones na method or procedure. So pour this one inside this one, heat am for 5 minutes, carry am go air dry am, carry am put am inside the incubator. All these things na steps wey scientists go don write am down, tell us, and we will carry am out as the scientists talk say we suppose do am. That way, that one na our method, and that one go lead us to observation. After the method, we will come observe, say okay, wetin we dey see for all these things wey we dey carry out, wetin we see. As we see those things, it go carry us graduate to conclusion, because whatever we see, we go write am down. Then at the end of the day, we'll come ask ourselves, say okay, this hypothesis wey we dey test now, based on this result and this observation wey we don see, wetin the thing dey tell us? This hypothesis, shey e dey true abi e no dey true? We go write am down, and that na wetin we dey call conclusion for experiment. Another thing to know wey dey important na say experiment, we dey carry am out under wetin we dey call controlled conditions. And wetin that one mean na say any factor or anything wey you wan test for inside experiment, you must make sure say that thing dey there. You dey test gravity for an example now. We know say anything wey you throw up, that thing must come down. If you throw your phone up, e go come down. Anything you throw. Now if you wan test gravity, you must get object wey you dey throw up dey come down now, because that na the major thing wey you dey test inside that sort of experiment. So any experiment must get wetin we dey call controlled factors or controlled conditions which must dey present inside that experiment wey we dey carry out. Wetin come be the usefulness of science and biology? Biology and science get many usefulness. You see, for medicine, for them to diagnose say person get one illness or the other, for the production of antibiotics, for the production of vaccine, for the production of medicine, all these things na science dey behind am. For transportation, for fuel, for mining, different aspects, for construction of bridges, railway, all these things na science dey make all these things dey possible. So that one na I been bring us to the end of our class, and I hope say we understand wetin we dey discuss. Thank you. Until next time.